there, my name is Miranda and welcome to another video. And today I'll be doing a TBR for this year's month of May Asian Readathon. The Asian Readathon is hosted every year by Cindy. I will leave a link to her announcement video down below, and in the description of that video is a bunch of links to a bunch of different resources you can use for this readathon, which includes the prompts, a bunch of different books that can fill the prompts, as well as a link to the story graph page for the challenge that will have a bunch of different books if you're not sure what kind of books you want to read for this readathon. Some fantasy ones, some contemporary, some sci-fi, all of them by Asian authors. For this video, I will be giving a couple of the books that I have decided I am going to read for the Asian Readathon in May. I haven't chosen very many because, unfortunately, in May as well, my dissertation is due at the end of the month, and as it is in a topic area I am relatively still new to for me, I am going to be spending a lot more time on that rather than reading. But I did choose some books for a couple of the prompts, and I thought I would share them with you. Maybe give some people a couple ideas, but I'm pretty sure the ones I've chosen are very well known, so I'm very sorry if you're looking for some not as well known books to use. Alright, so the first prompt is just to read any book that is written by an Asian author, and for that I chose Dragon Republic by R.F. Kwan. So this is the sequel to The Poppy War. I read Poppy War back in December. I absolutely loved it, despite the fact that a lot of the chapters, they just made me constantly cry. And the ending of that book just made me very sad and very worried for every single one of the characters. That just means I'm very excited to read the second book and also slightly terrified. I do plan on reading Dragon Republic next month. I will probably finish it. I'll probably be reading it very, very slowly, like maybe a chapter a night or something. But I'm very excited for this book. Despite the fact I'm fairly positive by the end of it I will be reduced to a pile of tears. The second prompt is to read any book that features an Asian protagonist, and for this one I am choosing one that is definitely one that has an Asian protagonist. It is not by an Asian author, unfortunately. However, everything else I am reading is by an Asian author. But for this prompt I am reading Red Winter by Marie Antoinette. Annette Marie. Okay, I got that mixed up. It's Annette Marie. I actually started reading Red Winter, I think about a year ago now, but then I lost access to the book, so I never actually completed it. I'm hoping to read it this month. I might try another one of the books in the trilogy. I have not decided yet. Again, since my dissertation is happening, the chances are not that likely, but I do want to read the first book. And Red Winter follows a young woman by the name of Emmy. Yeah, it's Emmy, I'm right. So Emmy is a very special girl. She is someone who is going to become the physical host for the goddess. There's an actual name for what she is. She is a Kami Gakari is what it says here in the description, and that in a few short months her life as immortal will end and her new existence as the human host of a goddess will begin. Then one day she meets a yokai by the name of, I think it was Shiro is what it said in the description. And of course he is meant to be her natural enemy as the host of a goddess eventually. As I said, I did start this book like about a year ago. I did not finish it, so I'm hoping to restart it and finish it this year. And I will let you know my thoughts on it probably next month. I don't know, it depends on how many books I read this month because I have not been reading much lately. Alright, so the third prompt is to read any book by an Asian author that is in your favorite genre. So, very well known, my favorite genre is fantasy, so I'm going to be reading even more fantasy books. Everything I have, I think, is a fantasy right now. No, okay, one of them I actually don't know if it is or not. We'll find out. But for this prompt, I did actually choose two books because one of them is a reread because I really don't remember much of what I read in it because I read it 2 years ago while I was traveling with my parents. That is both Wicked Fox as well as its sequel-ish book, Vicious Spirits. And those are both by Cat Cho. So both these books take place in, I believe they both take place in South Korea. Yes. So these are fantasy romance books that take place in modern-day Seoul, and one of the main characters is a Gumyo. So I do remember, like I said, I read the first book about 2 years ago now. I remember enjoying it a bit, but I don't remember much of what happened in it. So before I try to read the sequel, I want to reread that book because I completely forgot what it is. Also, makes me think of Tale of the Nine-Tailed, and I really did enjoy that drama when I finished it, so now I just kind of want to reread Wicked Fox and see if like maybe my thoughts have changed on it. So Wicked Fox follows a young Gumio by the name of Mi-young, and one day she saves a young mortal boy, but in the process she loses her fox speed, and losing her fox speed means that she could die. That's all I'm going to say about this book, because if I want to say more about it, I'm going to have to reread the description, and I don't want to reread it again. But I'm very excited to reread it. I'm hoping I like it more the second time round, but we will see. Alright, so for the fourth prompt, it is to read any non-fiction book by an Asian author. I have not chosen anything for this though, because I am going to be reading some more articles for my dissertation, so that is enough non-fiction for me. I am reading one article that I think is by someone from the University of Seoul, and it is a study of a couple of different villages in South Korea that have the World Heritage UNESCO logo or like name attached to it, because my dissertation is looking at some stuff that concerns heritage marketing. So we're gonna say that article is going to count for this because I have to reread it again anyway. But generally speaking, I have nothing chosen for this category. Alright, and the fifth and final category is to read any book by an Asian author that is not US-centric, which I'm going to be honest, absolutely none of my books, I think, take place in the US. Yeah, no. Dragon Republic is a fantasy world. Wicked Fox and Vicious Spirits takes place in South Korea and Seoul. And, I'm pretty sure Red Winter takes place in Japan, I think just outside of either Tokyo or Kyoto. I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, I did choose something for this. In fact, I chose a graphic novel or a manga, and this is one I actually came across entirely by accident. So this manga is Prince of Lanling, and the story is by Yoshiki Tanaka, and the art is by Takeru Kirishima. Yeah. So, funny story. I came across this manga graphic novel. It's very, very short. It's like 14 volumes, and each volume is like only like 30 pages or something. But it's colored, so it's fine. But I came across it completely by accident because I was actually looking for a Chinese historical drama pretty much of this name as well, Prince of Lanling. It's one of my absolute favorites because I wanted to rewatch a couple episodes, and instead of finding a new proper website I could subscribe to watch it on, I instead found this manga, which I still think is the weirdest coincidence ever, considering I have loved this show for a very long time and I have never heard of this manga in my life. However, it only came out in, I think it said like 2019, and I think it finished in fall of 2020. I have not heard if it's completed or if there's going to be more volumes, so I have no real knowledge of this. But as I read the description of it, it reminded me quite a bit of this Chinese drama. So Prince of Lanling, of course, follows the historical figure, the Prince of Lanling. I don't remember his actual name, but Prince of Lanling was, of course, a prince of the Qi dynasty, I believe back in the 500s AD. Oh my gosh, it was near the end of the Qi dynasty, because pretty much after he died, then they were taken over by the dynasty that was run by the Emperor Yuan. I remember that much because he was also in the show and he was pretty cool. Let's have a look. Are you gonna help me? Yeah, so it was like the mid 500s AD is when this guy was alive, and he was a general and a prince of the Northern Qi Kingdom. So this manga follows him, and then there's also a female character. I forget her name. I'm pretty sure when I looked at like the character list, it said something along the lines of Zhu, which is also the name of the female lead from the drama I really like. So I'm a little confused as to whether or not this is an original story or someone just also saw the drama and decided to make it into a manga. So I will let you know. But either way, I'm very excited to read it because, like I said, I'm a very big fan of the Prince of Lanling Chinese drama. So finding this manga that, as I read the description, kind of reminded me of it, well, I'm very excited to read it. I hope the story is like really interesting. I already know some idea of probably what might happen in it, but regardless, I'm looking forward to it. But if anyone has any idea whether or not there's supposed to be more coming out for it, please let me know because I have absolutely no idea. And I would really like to know. Right, so there you have it. Those are the books I have chosen as a TBR for the Asian Readathon in May. I did choose some ones that they're interesting to me. Maybe they sound interesting to you. And not gonna lie, I did choose ones that I thought would be kind of easy for me to get my hands on somehow. I just like making my life easier right now as much as I can, sort of. And just so you know, for anyone who does want to join the Readathon, it is not necessary to choose a separate book for each category. I just did for the sake of adding some potential ideas for anyone who sees this video, but you can combine books within categories. Any of that information will again be part of the link below to Cindy's original video if you want more information to join this readathon and more ideas besides the books that I have said for books that you can read for this readathon. There are definitely a lot more out there. These are just the ones that I have chosen myself. There are definitely a lot more I have since found from particularly the master list and the Storygraph page that is shared on there that I have added to my TBR and Goodreads. I'm just not going to be getting to them for this readathon. I will be getting to them eventually in the future though. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos very much like this, please be sure to click that subscription button down below. And I will see you next time. Bye!